On leaving art college, my head was buzzing with ideas. I didn't know what direction to go in, but the whole way through I was developing my painting and involved illustration and painting in the design work which I did. And then from that I set a firm of my own up, a company of my own up. But as time went on, I realized that I was looking after my employees, I was looking after my clients, and I wasn't doing much of the creative work which I had set out to do. That's what it was all about. I think people often think whenever you're self-employed that you're living your dream. And in actual fact, whenever I had my design firm, I was self-employed and it was not my dream. And so I felt that, if there was anything that was original that I was destined to do, I didn't want to miss the chance. I found that when I left my design firm, I needed to discipline myself by working in themes. And I very quickly looked at the city that I grew up in. And by getting up on high viewpoints and looking at it, I was looking at it in a completely different way. And offering everybody else the opportunity to see it in a different way as well. Also, what interested me in that was, I suppose, the formal context, learning about the physicality of oil paint, that actually oil paint could be used to describe stuff. The oil paint could nearly be put on in a way that it was like a block of stone. And if it was put on in a different way, it would be like a reflection in a lake. And I was aware when I looked in the windows of shops that our brains or our eyes instinctively filter the reflection. I thought it'd be interesting to see what it would be like, or if it would even be possible to paint the interaction of what is refracted and what is reflected. And I spent the next number of years exploring that. People who are kind of elevated because of celebrity, looking at them as a fellow human being and letting other people into that is infinitely more interesting than just simply showing another celebrity view. What I can say, and I think it's true of all of the work, is that there's room left in the paintings for the viewers to inhabit that space and make of it what they think, to form their own views. And in allowing somebody to form their own views about something rather than telling them what to think or how you think, there is much power. I'm not comfortable with the term portraiture, because for me, classical portraiture is about the viewer engaging with the person who sits. If we look back at classical portraiture of hundreds of years ago, we see kings and queens, and they're painted in such a way that they are looking out at us and we are subject to them. From the start, I turned the idea on its head. It's the opposite of that in my work. I'm looking for the moment in the sitting whenever the subject is seemingly unaware of me being there. They're thinking their own thoughts. They are in a daydream. And that's the moment that I strive for. Because that's the moment whenever a human being is comfortable or uncomfortable with themselves. The exhibition Silent Testimony is an exhibition of 18 portrait heads. The subjects being people who aren't known outside of their family and friends. The only thing that links them is that they've suffered loss through the Troubles. I suppose the original idea came from a feeling I had in 1998 after reading the Good Friday Agreement, when I felt that a yes vote was going to be really good for most of us. It was going to be a start of a new hope. But for the people who'd suffered loss, there was nothing in it for them. And in some ways I realised in the years after that this massive section of our community was in a way paying for everybody else's peace. It's very important for me that this exhibition is not about the past. Silent Testimony is actually about right now, and where we as a society are encouraged to move on. This is a massive section of our community who simply can't. I love the idea of life being seen as a gift. And I suppose if we do look at life as a gift of sorts, we then start to feel that we owe it something and that we need to squeeze every bit of life that we can get from life. And I suppose I've always had that approach. I think that being free with paint is well and good, and I love that. It's what my work is about. But I think that in freedom we need the confines of ideas and of, I suppose, themes. I suppose the painting of the late poet Seamus Heaney is a great case in point. I knew his work. His work is very rooted in the landscape. There's lots of imagery in his work of cutting turf, working the land. Just tended to use the palette knife a lot more with that piece, where it almost was getting a turf cut look to the face. So the face became something else up close, but whenever you stepped back, it was what the subject dictated it would be. And I love that idea of, again, something real becoming something else, or being allowed to become something else. People who are kind of elevated because of celebrity, looking at them as a fellow human being and letting other people into that is infinitely more interesting than just simply showing another celebrity view. I'm looking for the moment in the sitting whenever the subject is seemingly unaware of me being there. They're thinking their own thoughts. They are they are in a daydream, and that's the moment that I strive for, because that's the moment whenever a human being is comfortable or uncomfortable with themselves. So all of the paintings have been the same size. For me, everybody is an equal, and I want my body of work, whenever I move on and do something else, I want the body of work of the head paintings to be seen as being looking at human beings as equals. My view on my work is that I'm somebody who, for a job, puts paint on bits of cloth, and depending on how that's done or why it's done, that dictates what is said, that dictates what is seen. the mystery and the adventure in the whole thing is that I haven't a clue what it is I'm meant to achieve. So that's the fun.